Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video I'm going to be going over the 5 things that I don't exactly like about the new Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xE. Before we get in the video though, as always, if you're going to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get right into the video. So the first thing is some of the trim pieces. Okay, so I understand this is kind of a nitpicky point, but I'm still gonna make this point. So this is the Overland package, which is kind of like a luxury package on the Grand Cherokee. And it's kind of interesting how they have like really nice material use right next to just like regular old plastic. And so it does kind of look a little bit funky on the outside. There is, yeah, quite a bit of that. But the thing that really kind of bugs me here in the interior is I'm pretty sure this is just plastic that looks like wood, because it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't have that wood feel. It definitely has that plasticky feel. I mean, it looks really nice when you just look at it, but yeah, when you go up and touch it, it doesn't have that nice, like, you know, wood feel to it. But again, nitpicky. But also, like, again, like, you just have like really nice material use right next to like not so nice material use. And so this does have like a luxury car feeling interior, but at the same time, you know, there are some obvious cues that let you know that this ultimately is not a luxury car. Like, got more plastic on the back of the seat, all that kind of stuff. Again, like I said, this is one of my nitpickiest points in this video, but still thought I'd bring it up. Now, the number 2 point is reliability concerns. So I'm not saying that this is an unreliable vehicle. I'm saying that there are potential reliability concerns. First off, this is the 4xE, which I'll pop the hood so we can talk about what the 4xE is quickly. This is always a fun adventure. So, the 4xE is a turbocharged 4-cylinder paired to a hybrid system. Lots going on, right? And so there's a lot that could potentially go wrong between the hybrid system, or well, the electric part of it, right? Or the turbocharged part of it, or just, yeah, there's a lot happening under the hood. And so, yeah, there are definitely, you know, concerns with that long term. Now, the next thing that does raise a potential concern is the fact that this has air suspension, and I don't know up as of now, like, if there's ever been a vehicle with air suspension that like has lasted long term. It seems like these systems just ultimately fail, and when they do fail, they're very expensive to replace. And so that's another, you know, again, concern. And then on top of that, right, just like a lot of other modern cars, this has so many tech gadgets inside. It's got massaging seats, they're heated and cooled, they're power adjustable, it's got this big digital gauge cluster, it's got this infotainment system, it has a screen for the passenger, for goodness sakes, and it has this crazy advanced all-wheel drive, or not all-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive system that just has a lot of computers controlling it. And so, yes, I understand that this is a point that applies to a lot of other modern cars, but I figured I'd bring it up in this video because this is like the most advanced Grand Cherokee to date. And so there are some potential concerns, but some good news. If you don't like the powertrain side of things, you can get a V6 or a 5.7 Hemi with this still. So that takes out that part of it. Air suspension is optional on a lot of packages, or it's not even available on certain packages, and so that takes that out of the equation as well. And so, yeah, there you go. Now, number 3 is the potential for package confusion. Now, this is something that I like, but I don't like at the same time, and that is the fact that there are so many different packages on the new Grand Cherokee. There's so many different powertrains, like there's so much to choose from that I'm sure that it makes it extremely difficult for someone to nail down exactly what they want. And I think this vehicle is a really great example. This is the Overland package, which is kind of like a luxury-ish package, but there's also the Limited, which is also a luxury-ish package. And then there is the Summit, which is a nicer luxury package. And then there's the Summit Reserve, which is even more luxury and nicer. And so, like, that side of things is already confusing. It's like, which luxury Grand Cherokee do I go for, right? And then on top of that, like I said, there's 3 different powertrain options. You can get the V6, you can get a 5.7 Hemi, you can get the 4xE. What powertrain do you choose, right? That's another thing that kind of adds the confusion. And then on top of that, there's this off-road package. But then there's also the Trailhawk, and it's like, okay, do I get a Trailhawk, do I get an off-road package? How do I know which one I should go for? And really the only difference that I've found so far between the Trailhawk and this off-road package is the fact that this does not have the sway bar disconnect, but the Trailhawk does have a sway bar disconnect. And so, again, there is a little bit of confusion with that part of things. And then on top of that, just like other manufacturers, well, not other manufacturers, other Jeep models, it's kind of like a la carte with the options. And actually, if I thought the window sticker was up front, but it's in the back. If I show you guys the window sticker here, it kind of shows you like there's so many different optional packages you can add to each individual like trim package. And so this makes it even more confusing, right? And so it's like, okay, do I get a Laredo, or do I get a Limited, or do I get an Overland? Do I get a Trailhawk? Do I get a Summit? And then do I get, you know, this package on it? Do I get that equipment group on it? And so there's just so much going on. Makes it, I feel like it could be kind of overwhelming for someone looking to purchase this. Number 4 is the screen. Okay, so we're gonna be popping inside for this one. Should be a relatively quickish point. So starting her up, again, we have the side screen. I think it's cool, but it's also kind of a gimmick. And like I said, I think it's just one more thing to potentially break down the road. Now, main screen here. As you guys can see, it's decent response time. I just like loaded it up, and so now it's kind of going, there you go. But there is a little bit of lag, especially when you first start up. Now this is a lot of cars, right? They just take a second to have the screen like quote unquote warm up. So I understand that. But there have been so many times where I've used a screen where it's been so laggy that I get like frustrated. And that's where like it gets to the point where it's something that I'm, you know, gonna complain about, is where if I like press something and it's not like instant, but you guys can see right here, it's really good. And so it's just hit and miss. I wish there's consistency. I wish it was either like, this sounds weird, but I wish it was either laggy all the time, or if it was like super fast all the time. Like having this weird in between where sometimes it's lagging, sometimes it's not, can be kind of frustrating. And also, this is another thing about the screen. Like, I love the fact that there's all these different things that you can go through, but there's also all these different things you can go through. That's like, again, I can imagine kind of overwhelming for a person. I'm glad that you can do like favorites on stuff, which is great. But something that I noticed when I was doing the off-road review while we're on the screen is there's so many different menus here on the side to go through that it's kind of, again, overwhelming. Also, this doesn't actually show you anything. Like, it shows you steering angle, but when you're off-road and you're driving, it doesn't tell you if the transfer is locking or unlocking. Basically, it's just, yeah, I don't know, that's kind of weird. This thing I think is pretty cool on the screen. But then also the forward-facing camera, this is the last thing I'm going to complain about with the screen, does not stay on when you're in off-road modes all the time. I wish that like they would do what Ford has done with the new Raptor, where if you're in certain off-road modes, camera pops on, and no matter how fast you're going, camera stays on. Again, if you're off-road, you're not on-road. Again, because if you're in an off-road mode, then yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's my rant about the screen. Now, the 5th and final thing has to pertain to the price. Yes, I had to make this a point. So, here is the unofficial window sticker for this. All you guys need to see, $75,305 is the total MSRP for this particular Overland, with all of the options that it has. Again, with the 4xe powertrain, all that. And the 4xe is a pretty big price premium, which in itself is kind of confusing because the 4xe is supposed to save you money in fuel, but you have to pay so much more for a 4xe than a regular Grand Cherokee that you would take an extremely long time to basically make up the cost that you'd be saving in fuel. So yeah, kind of weird. But yeah, $75,000, that puts it in the territory of a lot of luxury automakers. And yes, I think that this interior is amazing. I mean, you guys kind of saw it throughout the video and through the reviews that I've done on this car. I mean, for a Jeep, this is just such a beautiful interior. I think they've done a great job, but Jeep is still not a luxury brand, right? They're giving us luxury car stuff with a non-luxury brand, so it should be at a more affordable price, but $75,000 isn't exactly in that realm. So like a really good example is I could get a Land Rover Defender at this amount of money. I could get a new Volvo XC90 at this amount of money with a really nice interior. So like there's, you know, BMW X5. I could just keep naming off cars from luxury brands. So yeah, I think this is a great vehicle. I think it has a ton of cool features, but I don't think that Jeep quite has the, you know, brand recognition from a luxury perspective to be charging luxury car prices just yet. I could see that potentially happening in the future as they, you know, build up more of their brand recognition on the luxury side of things, because they already have the brand recognition with the off-road side of things. But yeah, I think it's kind of an interesting play. But I mean, also another thing in my personal opinion is I think Jeep should just double down on the off-road side of things, frankly. That's my personal opinion, because I think it's a much cooler route to go, a little bit more unique rather than trying to dive into luxury like everyone else. But you know what? They can ultimately do whatever they want. That's going to sum things up for our video on the 5 things that I don't exactly like about the new Grand Cherokee 4xe, and I just locked it because I put my hand on the lock button. Anyways, I'll see all of you in the next video.